In this video, I'll be examining your personal year ahead for 2020 with a little help from Pythagorean numerology. I'm Hayden Crawford and I'm a wellness coach and spiritual teacher specialising in colour therapy. Now, 2020 numerology is a universal year 4, and we get that by adding the 2 and the 2 together from 2020. Easy, right? Now, symbolically, the number 4 is a bit like a square or the 4 walls of a house, and that's why the collective focus for 2020 is about intricately building a solid foundation for the future. Now, this will manifest as a heightened awareness on our actions and their results. You'll be attracted to fine-tuning methods and looking at the detail of things. Now, the universal year cycle 4 is represented by Uranus, which is the planet of the future, and in the colour mirror system it's yellow over a very, very deep turquoise. Now, being the planet of the future, it's going to make us look at how all of our efforts today are affecting what happens to us in the future. Now, the influence of Uranus is about change and disruption of old order. It really is the planet of the future, so it's about letting go of old programs, people, places, events, circumstances, beliefs that are no longer in alignment with your truth. It really is about shedding all that's gone before you that's no longer, aligned to the vision that you hold of the golden age of Aquarius. The number 4 in numerology encourages us to focus on our organisational skills and our approaches to work. It gives us the strength and courage to be able to rise to our challenges, but also to be able to defeat any of our obstacles. Now, we also need to look at the numerology of the number 20, because obviously we're in 2020. And in the colour mirrors system, that bottle is represented by awakening, which is magenta over copper. Now, the awakening bottle reminds us that there is no separation. It's the soul's awakening to its truth. These colours say that we never left home in the first place. Once we realise that the Creator is in everything, we recognise that where we are right now is heaven. We are of heaven and of earth. There is no separation between the two. So we need to finally get to the point where we've recognised that we are divine and that we are bodies as souls living out a temporary human experience. Now, my aim here isn't to freak you out or scare you in any way, but we have to also recognise and observe that the number 20 appears twice in 2020, hence that influence is amplified. And that, coupled with the numerology of 4, which is about disruption and change, old orders being broken down, and all of that sort of new structures and processes coming in for the future, we also need to look at what Nostradamus predicted during the course of 2020. Now, of course, there were 5 major events that he predicted way back when. The first being a massive earthquake to happen in Central America. The second is another global financial crisis where there's going to be dark times and bankruptcy across the globe. The third is the rising of the sea levels because of the melting of the polar ice caps, and obviously that's going to be quite a major, couple of metre rise of the sea levels. The fourth being a predicted new world war, so potentially the rise of the Third World War. And finally, some cataclysmic megastorms as well, which are going to spiral mega hurricanes and things like that. So he was a bit of a grim reaper with his predictions, but all that is part of his predictions for what we're just about to move into. Could all of this be the influence of the vibration of Uranus, creating change and disruption of old order on our planet? Well, who knows? I'm of the opinion that we create our own reality based around our thoughts, beliefs, expectations and feelings. And as a collective, we can have much more of a powerful impact for positive change on the planet. So despite Nostradamus's bleak predictions of our future, 2020 proves to be an exciting time where we can harness our self-confidence and move forward with a lot more ease and grace in our life and actually create some positive change in not only our lives, but on the people around us too. If you commit yourself fully, you can open doors to new levels of success, happiness, and financial flow. But how does our personal year cycle also influence what we are due to attract to ourselves in 2020? In numerology, we travel in 9-year cycles, and during these phases, there are better times to delay action, to make changes, to travel, to be creative, or to do some personal development. This can be worked out with a very, very simple formula. Simply add your birthday number with your birth month number and then the current year number, and not your birth year number, okay? So for example, I was born on the 16th of the 10th, 1972. So I would add the 1 and the 6 together from the 16, add the 1 from the 10, which is October, and then the current year number that we're going into, which is 2020. So I would add all of those up and then reduce that down to a single digit. And that means that I'm going into a personal year cycle 3. What did yours add up to? Have you got it right? You might want to double check the numbers just in case. It's actually really simple when you do it a few times. Remember that 2021, it will actually go up by a number. So for example, for me, I'll be going into my personal year cycle 4 in 2021. Really easy, right? So what are the influences of your personal year cycle number? Well, let's take a look at how this will impact on what else you can expect from your 2020. So if you're moving into a personal year cycle 1, you have the influence of the Sun and Uranus. It's all about fresh new beginnings. The Sun in the colour mirror system is yellow over yellow, and you know Uranus is yellow over a deep, deep turquoise. Just look at those two colours together for a moment. So this is where you're going to have to let go of people, places, programs, beliefs, behaviours, all of those things that are no longer serving you, so you can make room for new projects and ventures moving forward. So this could manifest as you changing jobs or changing a relationship or even moving home. The Sun and number 1 energy is all about positive, new, joyous energy. It's the start of new energy that's coming in to help you to take action on your plans. Yellow in colour therapy is all about joy. And we know what it's like when we spend time in the sun. It's very uplifting, isn't it? So this can also be an exceptionally rewarding time financially for you if you're trying to sell assets such as houses, as long as your intentions are free of greed. The power of this cycle enables you to crush old habits and adopt a new, more positive lifestyle. It's essential to get your physical body moving during this period as well, because that will help you to manifest your goals and desires. Are you moving into a personal year cycle 2? Well, if you are, the influences that you've got are the Moon and Uranus. Just look at those two bottles together for a second. Okay, so this is all about spiritual development and partnerships for you. So personal year cycle 2 is all about spiritual development. So it'll be a time of reflection and introspection, meditation and mindfulness, and going inward to do some personal development. Now, it's likely that your sensitivity will be heightened more than usual, and your emotions will be stimulated under the influence of the Moon during this cycle. Please avoid energy stealers like the plague and start to focus more on your own needs. Your intuition will be amplified this year, and you may be more willing to trust your innate inner guidance system and reconnect to your broader awareness so that you can get more clear and concise spiritual discernment. You also may find that you're entering into new partnerships during your personal year cycle 2, because the 2 really is about bringing people together. But remember, Uranus is also there affecting and influencing your energy. So you may have to also let go of old relationships for these new ones to come in. Are you moving into a personal year cycle 3? Well, if you are, then your influences are Jupiter and Uranus. Take a look at those for a second. So this is all about social and creative expansion. So you might find that you're likely to become a lot more sociable during this influence, and that will be because you're meeting some great people. You'll also find that there'll be new projects that will get your creative juices flowing as well. And also your expansive imagination will be conjuring up all sorts of new opportunities as well. So it's a very, very exciting time. Remember, Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system, and he really brings in the colour of the new Christ ray, which is this beautiful coral energy, which is really about self-acceptance. So the more that you learn to accept yourself unconditionally, the more expansion you're likely to get out of this year. Learning new skills, personal development and stimulating your imagination will take centre stage during 2020 for you. Any courses or workshops that inspire you, say yes and turn up, because they're likely to be the right next step. Your powers of observation will also be stimulated this year, so it's also important not to become too critical of other people. Because remember, whatever we judge in another, it's just a reflection on what we haven't learned to accept about ourselves. Jupiter will help you reap the rewards of any creative endeavours, so only get involved in projects that give you a sense of purpose and joy. Uranus will help you take action on any educational or travel plans, because this will help you to enhance your self-esteem and your self-confidence. If you're entering into a personal year cycle 4, it's time to consolidate, build and regenerate. The double influence of Uranus energy is really about looking at the foundations and the structures within your life. So it's really a focus on making sure that they're built properly so that they can support the next few years of your future. There'll be a focus on the material structures in your life, such as your family, your home, and your finances. So it's the perfect time to get all of your business affairs in order and get organized. And also release anything that is no longer working within your business, family, or your home. You can expect the unexpected with Uranus energy, so pay close attention to any contracts that you are signing and make sure that any projects don't go over budget. It's really important that. Also, the number 4 relates to the physical body. So it might be the time to really implement a fantastic new exercise regime into your life and make sure you're getting your 8 hours solid sleep a night as well. Are you moving into a personal year cycle 5? Well, if you are, it's all about freedom, opportunities and change. Mercury comes in to join Uranus. Just look at those two colours together. Green in colour therapy is all about space, and freedom becomes of tantamount importance to you this year. It might be that you are inspired to travel to foreign destinations and get your fix of new cultures and ways of living. Versatile and communicative Mercury may motivate you into expanding your business or even moving house this year. It's the perfect time to get involved in group activities that make your heart sing and release anything that feels restrictive. The number 5 sits in the center of the emotional plane in numerology, so it will stimulate any spiritual or emotional factors. So it's exceptionally important for you to be able to express yourself with greater freedom so that you can get involved more readily in engaging social activities. If you're moving into a personal year cycle 6 in 2020, then your influences will be Venus and Uranus. This is all about relationships, the home and creativity. Look at those colours together, gorgeous, hey? Venus stimulates harmony within your environment, so it may be essential this year to be able to create an abode of bliss where you feel totally in balance. This is the main year to be creative at home, to create happiness and nurture your own needs first. When unruly Uranus comes banging at your door to try and get you to go and do things that you don't want to do and take you out of your sanctuary, you've got to learn to say no and nurture those needs that you have first, because otherwise it could cause disruptions to your levels of harmony, and you don't want that, do you? Number 6 in numerology is all about self-love and creativity. Venus is the planet of love after all, and it's pink over pink. So any creative projects that you get involved with this year are likely to succeed, but it may mean that you have to get rid of some false people that aren't actually supporting you along the way. Sure enough, Uranus will help you do that. Now, in order to be able to balance the mind, body and soul this year, you may have to start implementing a new exercise regime. If you're moving into a personal year cycle 7 during 2020, it's a time for contemplation and spiritual exploration. How exciting is that? Neptune joins Uranus this year. Neptune is the Roman god of the sea and is turquoise over turquoise. Those two colours together seem to work quite well, don't they? Remember, 7 in numerology is all about learning through your own experience. So you may be called upon to learn through certain lessons this year, which can sometimes involve sacrifice, so be warned. Now, it's absolutely essential to try and avoid making any major life changes during your personal year cycle 7. And these sacrifices that I've just spoken about will only really impact you if you are currently living your life that's outside of your true soul purpose. It's actually aimed at getting you back on track again. Now, the year 7 also will bring up major lessons for you. So it might be that you have to learn through your own experience, but just make sure that you are learning the lessons, because otherwise they might have to come back round again. 2020 is a time for sharing your wisdom, but not expanding your offerings, because contemplation is far more important. Neptune will also help you to deepen your spirituality and look for the deeper meanings behind life. This will highlight new ways for you to be and paths for you to follow. Are you entering into your personal year cycle 8 during 2020? Well, if you are, it's all about prosperity, change and independence, and Saturn joins Uranus. Now, you can see here that Saturn is this beautiful lilac over violet and brings in a depth of spirituality and wisdom. Saturn's patience is now paying dividends as you begin to reap the rewards of all of your hard work. It's fantastic. Now, it also aligns you to your independence, so it might be that Uranus comes in to help you to let go of any old people or patterns or behaviours that are keeping you feeling small, and it will actually bring in some golden opportunities for you so that you can become more financially abundant and more prosperous in your day-to-day world. So as mentioned, your finances will improve tenfold as you start living your life more on purpose. The number 8 energy really brings in a sense of organisation, control as well, and independence. Now, the control aspect means that you've really got to stick to your guns and do what comes naturally to you, even if it creates power struggles within your relationship dynamic. Ultimately, they will benefit from these changes in the long run. And finally, if you're moving into a personal year cycle 9 during 2020, then it's all about relocation and humanitarian guidance. Now, Mars joins Uranus on this one, and Mars is red and orange fire energy. It's all about activity, energy, mobility. It's very, very dynamic. And with change bringing Uranus, those two energies working together is quite a power pack. So expect changes. Now, these might not necessarily manifest until November, December time, or indeed the following year. So, really watch out. Now, Mars energy is very dynamic, and Mars will help you to do and say what needs doing and saying. But it also carries a lot of wisdom as well, because the 9 carries the weight of all of the numbers that go before it. So during this phase, you'll be called upon really to share not only your depth of wisdom with the world and to guide humanitarian activities, but you'll also find that you may be called upon to be able to, help with the process of change in other people's lives as well. So all of this red energy may manifest as a relocation, a change in job, or a change in relationship. The 9 is all about the completion of a cycle, and obviously the 1 brings in fresh new beginnings. So we can see things here starting to sort of break down, and Uranus actually may also help with that process because it wants to bring about change. So it's a period of reflection. So you may be called upon to activate more forgiveness towards yourself and other people, or greater tolerance, whatever way it manifests for you. Just rejoice in the fact that, some amazing changes have taken place during the previous 9-year cycle, and look forward to some fantastic new ones for the next 9-year cycle. Please leave a few comments below to let me know what personal year cycle you're moving into during 2020 and how you plan on navigating these disruptive influences. Then I'd like you to subscribe to this channel and click the bell for future notifications, and then watch my next video. Have a fantastic Christmas, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.